Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've been waiting a while to start covering the Vallow case, and I'm sure you all have heard of this case or know about it in some way. I've been following the case since last December. Tylee Ryan and her younger brother, JJ Vallow, are two children from Idaho who went missing last September. In June of 2020, their remains were found on the property of their mother's fifth husband. The case is so complex and has so many details. It's like a spider web that goes in so many directions it's difficult to keep up. I've been having a hard time finding a point to start, and obviously there will have to be multiple videos on this case due to its complexity. What would have been Tylee's 18th birthday was last week, and what investigators believe was JJ's last day of life was 1 year ago last week. So I thought this would be a good point in time to jump into the case. Tylee Ashlyn Ryan was born September 24th, 2002 to her mother Lori then Ryan and father Joseph Ryan. Investigators believe she died sometime around September 9th, 2019, just a few weeks before her 17th birthday. Tylee's brother, Joshua Jackson Vallow, who went by the nickname JJ, was born on May 25th, 2012. JJ had a more complicated start to his life. He was adopted by his parents, mother Lori, at that time Vallow, and father Charles, Lori's fourth husband. Lori and Charles had adopted JJ, who was the grandson of Charles's sister Kay Woodcock and her husband Larry Woodcock, by their son. JJ would have celebrated his 8th birthday in May. JJ is believed to have been killed on September 23rd of 2019 at the age of 7. The remains of 16-year-old Tylee and 7-year-old JJ were found buried on the property of Chad Daybell at his home in Salem, Idaho. They had been buried in his backyard. Forensic exams revealed JJ had been wrapped in garbage bags. His wrists and his ankles had been bound with duct tape. Tylee had been dismembered and burned. She was buried in the family's pet cemetery. Chad Daybell is the fifth husband of the children's mother, Lori. Chad, however, was not the stepfather of Tylee and JJ because he married their mother after the children were killed. As I said before, the children were murdered at two separate points in September of 2019. Chad and Lori would get married less than 2 months later in Hawaii on November the 5th. The children's deaths are not the only deaths linked to Chad and Lori. Chad and Lori both had spouses who would rather conveniently die within 3 to 4 months of their wedding. Lori's fourth husband, Charles Vallow, died on July 11th, 2019 in Chandler, Arizona, and Charles's death certainly was not of natural causes. Charles Vallow was shot and killed by Lori's brother, Alex Cox. Alex claimed he had shot Charles in self-defense after Charles came at him with a baseball bat. The claim was that Charles had hit Alex in the head with the baseball bat. Apparently, Alex got off lucky because Charles, a former baseball player, certainly knew how to swing a bat and hit the mark. Alex, however, was barely injured. He hardly even had a mark on his head from where the bat hit him. Somehow Alex was able to convince the police he killed Charles in self-defense. And then there's Tammy Daybell, Chad's first wife, who conveniently died just as Charles had, clearing the path for Chad and Lori to get married. Tammy died in her sleep on October 19th at her home in Salem, Idaho, or at least that's what was told to authorities at the time. Chad said Tammy, his wife of 28 years, went to bed that night with what he called a terrible cough. She died during the night. Chad declined at the time to have an autopsy performed on his wife. Around 2 months later, after suspicion due to the missing children, Tammy's body was exhumed and an autopsy was performed. Those results have not been released to the public yet. Chad didn't let himself get lost in grief, though. Instead, just over 2 weeks later, he married Lori. Tammy had been dead a whole 16 days. And then there's this. Lori purchased her wedding ring from Amazon 17 days before Tammy died. She used Charles's account to make the purchase. So on October 2nd, with her 2 children missing, Lori is buying a wedding ring to marry a man who is already married. So there are 4 deaths linked to Chad and Lori, 2 dead spouses and 2 dead children. Alex Cox, Lori's brother who killed Charles Vallow, would also conveniently die in December of 2019. But wait, there's more. The cult aspect to this case. Lori has come to be known as Doomsday Cult's mom, and Chad and Lori together have come to be known as the Doomsday Couple. According to reports, Chad and Lori believed the world was going to end in July of 2020. Chad fancied himself some sort of visionary who could see future events. Lori believed she was a god chosen to gather people and prepare them for the second coming of Christ. They believed that people can become zombies whose spirits had left their bodies. Chad believed he could assess people as being dark or light and what level of darkness or lightness they were. Chad and Lori believed they were part of the Church of the Firstborn and part of the 144,000 mentioned in the book of Revelations. They thought it was their mission to rid the world of zombies. Lori believed that Tylee, JJ, and Charles were all zombies, and now they're all dead. Tylee and JJ were both last seen alive in September of last year. Tylee was last seen alive on September 8th, along with Lori, JJ, and Lori's brother Alex, when they visited Yellowstone National Park. Investigators believe she was killed sometime later that day or early the next morning. JJ was last seen on September 23rd at school. Lori called the school the next day and withdrew him. JJ was described by his grandfather Larry Woodcock as being the bright and joy in their lives. He is said to have adored his golden doodle dog, Bailey. The dog calmed him and helped him sleep at night. JJ was very imaginative and liked to put on concerts for his stuffed animals. Several people have said that when JJ came into the family, Tylee was almost like a second mom to him. She was so excited to have a little brother and start taking care of him. Tylee was super talented, and her aunt, Summer Shiflett, said she excelled at several activities. Tylee loved to dance and sing. She also enjoyed art and photography and performed in shows while she was in school. Last week in Rexburg, a vigil was held to honor Tylee on her birthday. Lori Vallow Daybell is set to go on trial in January. She is charged with misdemeanor, resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court. Chad Daybell is also set to go on trial in January. He is charged with 2 felony counts of obstruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, and 2 felony counts of conspiracy to destroy, alter, and conceal evidence. So far, no murder charges have been filed in any of the deaths. Like I said earlier in the video, this is a case that's going to take multiple videos on multiple topics because it's so complex. Well, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to like and subscribe. Until next time.